So now that you've got, some gear, some songs, now what do? Hello, welcome to another weekly riff with Chris. This week we're going to talk about forming a band. Not as easy as you think it is. Now, it can be pretty difficult to start a band. There are some important things to remember. One of the biggest things to consider is the people that are going to be in the band. Friends, relatives even. The biggest thing that you need to consider is the hang. How well do these people that that you're starting this band with, what kind of a hang are they? Are they good people? Are they fun? Do you just want to be with them? The reason that's so important is you're going to be spending a lot of time with these people. Hours in the rehearsal room. Traveling if that's what you're going to do. You're going to be in the same vehicle for quite a while. So it's important to have a good relationship with people beyond the music. You don't want to be stuck in a van with people you can't stand being around. That's what happened to a lot of bands, back in the 80s and 90s. Famous one that I can think of is Motley Crue. They couldn't stand each other. And they each had their own tour bus, which was quite expensive. One of the big things that I look for in a potential bandmate, other than can I hang with them, can I just be with them, and but they don't have to have the same philosophies as I do, and actually that's not a bad thing either. But I also look at, can they play their instrument? That's kind of important too, but not as important as being able to spend time with them. Another important factor that I think is important anyway is, do these people that you're gathering with, do they have the same goals and ambitions as you, or similar? Do they want to play out? Do they want to record? Do they want to do they want to do the same things you want to do? Sorry, I was distracted by a fish. I'm standing next to a lake that is quite active. See? Beautiful location for recording today. Another thing to consider is your potential bandmates' work schedules. Not everybody has evenings off or weekends off or what have you. Like myself, I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I'm only home every other weekend. So I can only practice on Saturday afternoon, every other Saturday. A friend of mine, nephew, he He works nights. He can't practice on a Thursday night. He can only practice on, Saturday or Friday afternoon. That's not something that works for everybody. So you have to be kind of flexible, and when you can practice, and as we get older, we start to have families. You got to have that in consideration too. Everybody needs time with their family. Scheduling band practice can be difficult, and it can be frustrating. Getting everybody together and getting a set time that is scheduled, so that everybody knows when to be there and how long they're going to be there for. Because you got to remember, your bandmates also have a life outside of the music. They've got families, they've got jobs, they've got friends that don't play music or aren't in your band. So you kind of have to be sensitive to that and accommodate that as well. It's just the way it is. With Peavey and I set it up the way that, family was first. Everybody in the band had a family, and that came first. That trumped everything. If the drummer's wife wanted to do something, that was more important. If the bass player's wife needed him for something, that was more important. And if you are married, hopefully you have a spouse that is understanding and accommodating. Otherwise, it's going to get real difficult. Not only is it going to be difficult for you as the individual, but it's going to be difficult for everybody in your band. Fortunately, the guys I worked with in Deviant, Matt Turner and Will Williams, very accommodating spouses, and my wife was gracious to allow us to take over the basement and make all the noise we wanted, and she'd take the kids and leave. And honestly, I really don't blame her, but hey, but no, she was real cool about it. Matt's wife was real cool about letting him come over and make noise with me, and same thing with Will's wife, who happens to be my niece. And she was real cool about it as well. So in that sense, yeah, the three of us were lucky, and hopefully again we will be again. But we'll see what happens down the road with that. But nonetheless, we musicians have a strange life, and that strange life takes a toll on friends and family that might not understand that, hey, I got a gig Saturday night, I can't go to your barbecue, or my band's recording in the studio, I can't just go and do, and that can be taxing on a family. So if you're going to be starting a band, these are things that you need to consider and need to take into account and be flexible with. Otherwise, it's going to be real difficult for you. Not saying it can't be done, but it's not going to be easy either. You got to have a lot of support and a lot of understanding from your loved ones. So, with that being said, good luck, and we'll talk to you next week. The news I mentioned earlier in the episode is, as some of you may have noticed, the name change to the channel, That Truckin Guitar Player, and that's based on because I'm an over-the-road truck driver that plays guitar. Kind of fitting, I guess. I've also updated my Patreon to reflect that change. Over the coming weeks, I'll be updating the rest of my social media platforms, the ones that I don't use, such as Twitter and whatnot. But moving forward, I've also got a interview scheduled that will air at a later date. So that'll be a new feature that I hope you all enjoy and get a lot out of. That first interview will be with Jesse of Day Old Hate. Jesse's a great guy, and I'd like to introduce you all to him. We'll talk to you soon. If you like what you just saw, please click the like, subscribe button. Share it with friends. That would help me out greatly. Another way to help me is to click on the link in the description for my Patreon. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.